you guys so it's clear. The first few slides I'm going to read it with you so you're able to understand it. Then after that I'm going to blast through it. So grassroots movement will be built around the core values of simplicity, authenticity, naturalness, and earnestness. And this will flourish outside the marketplace, shaping attitudes and interpersonal relations in public and private discourse. So when you go on Google, you go to Urban Dictionary, you try to search the word post-cool, which I made up, and I thought, let me make up this word, and maybe it's original. But then I actually went online and trying to find out what the meaning of it is, and this is what you get in Google Urban Dictionary. It says, a heightened state of self-awareness where it is not trying, just being, and egoless cool. So I'm going to emphasize on this phrase here, where it is not trying, just being, and an egoless cool. So I'm not going to go so much about on this slide here. So as we all know, we live in this very hyper instant gratification generation where the number of likes, views, shares, it kind of dictates whether something is good or not. And in this talk here, I'm going to talk about this concept called post-cool, where it has these four ingredients, so simplicity, authenticity, naturalness, and earnestness. And I've applied this concept in my own work, in my own daily life. And what it has actually done is I managed to open up an amazing platform, a business that I run with this concept. And it has changed my outlook in life to, I think, is a better outlook, which I think every one of us here should try. So we're going to start with simplicity. So I studied art in school back in London, and I went to an art school, and most of my design that I think people I really look up to at an early age when I was in school is artists that were more interested in making simple arts, things that are just easy to use, easy to look at. So this is an example of there's an artist called Data Rams. He's a German architect. He's also a designer. And this is a radio, by the way. So it has a really simple thing to use. So it's literally two colors. It's white and grey, and it has a button. You press play, and then you change the channel. It's really easy to use. And this radio here is by a brand called Braun. So B-R-A-U-N. I don't know if you guys know of it. Yeah, amazing. So early age, I was really interested into simple design, simple artists that kind of trying to get the message across in a simple way. Then in terms of authenticity, so this is me, 15-year-old Janvier. I don't look like that anymore, but this is me as a 15-year-old. So I kind of grew up in a generation of YouTube. So I spent more time in front of YouTube than television when I was young. So I used to go on just like search the most random videos on YouTube and Vimeo. So then during that time, the heydays of YouTube, I'll say maybe 2000 and, I don't know, let's say 8, I started discovering artists and filmmakers and creative people who were making films, they were making short videos for the sake of the art. It's not like today, you make something because you want to get a viral hit or whatever. But back then, there were artists who were making short films, music video, or just random video because they want to show people how good the creative stuff are. And I came across a few other creative people that really inspired my view in terms of being authentic creative person. So one of them is this guy called Nabil. He basically, right at the beginning of career of people like Frank Ocean, we all know Frank Ocean, right? Yeah. Like amazing. Frank Ocean, all these other people when they were starting out, he was working closely with these guys. He was making the most beautiful piece of work. So this guy Nabil, and there's also another guy called JR, who is a photographer. He takes photos of people's faces, and sometimes he'll do close-up like here on someone's eyes, and then he'll create a mural, or he'll get that mural printed on the wall. And the purpose of it was just so he can show people what he's making. So this is nothing to do with you, nothing to do with share, because you can't share the wall, you can't like the wall. So this is purely about making an authentic piece of work. Then naturalness. It's actually a picture of my ex-girlfriend. so I grew up. Yeah, so I grew up in Paris and London. So the first 22 years of my life, I pretty much live in metropolitan cities. So I was never really exposed into what you guys have here, like farms. I was never really exposed to that. So the first 22 years of my life, all I knew is, cars, getting on the train, just a very kind of metropolitan city stuff. So the first time I went out to the city was when I was 22 years old, and I went to my ex's parents' house. They live in the L.I.F.E district, which is basically the most countryside, the most English you can think of. It's near Scotland. And when I was there, what really inspired me is how nature in itself, they're kind of, intertwining and living together. And I saw mountains, I saw the sea, I saw, the sky, everything was kind of like they were working together. So there was not any type of this is bigger than that, or this is bigger than that. So the mountain, the sea, and the sky is all living in synchronized. So I was really, really inspired by the nature itself when I left the city to go visit her parents in the Lake District. And then the next one is earnestness. Does anyone know who this woman is? Names? Yeah. Nina Simone, exactly. Yeah, amazing. So I grew up listening to loads of Nina Simone's work. And she's always been very, very, very sincere about her words and the music. And she's really particular about what she says. And one of my favorite quotes from her is that an artist's job is to reflect the time we live in. And she basically, she did get bad reviews as well from people, but one thing about her, she was always reflecting the time she was living at a time in America. So whether it's racism, injustice, she put all that stuff into her through her work, so for people to listen and to also experience from her eyes. And that, to me, that's what's the ingredient that makes post-cool concept. So which is simplicity, authenticity, naturalness, and earnestness. That's the four ingredient that makes this concept that I made. So when I was 21, and after being a YouTube generation, watching loads of videos, I thought, I'm gonna give this a go. I'm gonna try to put what I like put into practice. So then I tried making my own first TV project, which is called Made in Brixton, and this was in the back of a famous TV show in the UK called Made in Chelsea. Made in Chelsea is essentially a TV show about people that live in Chelsea neighborhood, which is the high life neighborhood where people are driving on a Ferrari, drinking champagne. But at the time, I spent more time in Brixton because that's what I felt is the real life. And I thought, what if there was a TV show similar to what Made in Chelsea is, but a Brixton version of it. Brixton is an area in London. So I came up with this idea. I made this TV show, Made in Brixton. To my surprise, because I only care about making something for the experience of it, it worked out really well. I remember, so we made this, and there was an article written about this on the national newspapers, and we ended up selling the rights of this TV show to Channel 4, which is one of the biggest TV channels in the UK. And at the time I was 21 years old, I was like, oh wow, I can actually become a filmmaker. This is without any formal training. I just managed to convince a few friends together. We made this thing together and it worked. And in the back of that, I ended up working with pretty much everyone. The channel that bought the TV show, Vice, BBC, you name it. I worked with all these other big production companies and recognized film institutions. And then, riding off the wave of this Made in Brixton thing I made, then I was like, you know what, I'm going to try making another project on my own. And I called this was a short film called L.I.F.E. And, I kind of let my ego drive me through. I was like, I can do it. As a 21-year-old, I managed to do this. No one stops me to do another TV show and, make it big. But then, as life always happened, that didn't work out the way I wanted. So I made this TV show. I tried to get it to film festivals, and it got rejected by all the film festivals I wanted to get into. And then I went through the usual grief stage. I was angry, I was hurt, I was in denial. I was like, no, this is amazing. How can they do this to me? I was really, really hurt that the film that I made with so much passion and so much, kind of ego. I was like, this is the most amazing piece of work. Well, how can they reject it? And then that's when I realized there was more of us. There was more people that felt the same way I felt, where you're making something really great, and then big institution that almost define what is good. And as I start to kind of do more research, I start discovering there's a lot more filmmakers, storytellers that would kind of feel the same way as I felt, where they made something good and it got rejected. I said, you know what? I'm going to try to make a platform. This platform called Minute Shorts. And for those who don't know, Minute Shorts is essentially a video streaming platform that I own. You can. Okay, thank you. I'm going to continue. So Minute Shorts is a video streaming platform that I own. It allows you to watch basically, we say it allows you to watch incredible short films by the next generation of filmmakers. So the platform is available on mobile apps, it's on a desktop, it's on all the smart TV channels, and also it's on the cruise ferries, soon to be on the plane. And then also outside of the platform itself, we also run this film screening events in real life, also online. And also we have over 1 million viewership per month. We got over 300,000 subscribers, followers on social media. But what I don't want to focus on today is not really the metrics or the numbers, because that is great for business, but for this purpose, I don't think that matters that much. So what I really wanted to focus now is how I applied the post-school concept into this business, and then I created this community, and I'll show you guys what sort of results we got out of that. So after my rejection, I made this platform, and then after start speaking to loads of filmmakers, I started realizing there's a lot of storytellers in the world. People want to tell their stories, right? So we do have YouTube, all these other places. If you go on YouTube, there's a bunch of storytellers. So this is about probably 2017. And I went on a quest to just find as many storytellers who care about making piece of work for the purpose of making piece of work. Not for the viewership, not to be known, to win an awards, but making films, short films specifically, because you got a story to tell. So I started finding these amazing filmmakers, and one guy I came across with is this young guy here called John O'Guns. So he showed me a film. He played me the most amazing film, even till this day. It's one of my favorite films ever. So there's a film called Wilson, which is on my platform as well. It's basically a film about a mental health, but told from a black man point of view. And the film is really short, it's about 3 minutes long. And in the film, you see a guy, he's kind of going on through this day, and every time somebody asks him, how you doing? And he said, I'm fine, but even though he's going through issues, it's almost like as a man, especially as a black man, you have to pull out that facade. And that film, when he explained to me, we spent like maybe 2 hours, and he's telling me the concept of the film, and the storyline, and the message he's trying to get across, and he didn't mention nothing about awards, viewership, or any gain, apart from just he wanted to get that film to be shown so people can understand the impact of mental health through black men point of view. And then I told John, yes, let me get your film to a platform. And we did all the stuff we usually do, the promotion, etc., etc. And then John, he went on to win awards, etc. If you follow him on Instagram, you see him. He's actually an award-nominated filmmaker. He's won BAFTAs, all that other stuff. But that was not what he set out to do at the beginning. He wanted people just to see the story and the film that he wanted to show to people. Also, another thing with our community is I'm a big fan of cinema, so I work in film. But one thing I was kind of really interested in with your platform is how do I create that sense of naturalness for our platform? So this is a picture of our event, as you can see. It looks like it's someone's living room. So I was really interested, how do you break the fifth wall of cinema? So when you go to cinema, you sit down, there's a separation between you and the film, so there's no interaction. You watch a film, then you leave. But what I wanted to do, how do you create a community in where things feels natural? You're interacting with the filmmaker, you're interacting with the film. So when it comes to our events that we host in London, we're going to start hosting globally as well soon. So you have, the audience, the filmmakers, it feels like you're just all together. And for our platforms, we don't have no star ratings, no view counts, no comments. The reason for that, because we want, from an audience point of view, we want you, when you choose a film, not to be influenced by any of this stuff. We have a lot of global issues like racism. One example is this film here called The World Is Ours. I don't know if you guys can see it. It says, it's just a fact. If nature suffers, people suffer. And this is an interesting story. This is my housemate, and they've been together for 3 years, and they met through our events. So it's almost like, even though the purpose that we started that we want this to be a network, where you can start, networking together, but then you want beyond the professional networking to actually meet your love of your life or something, which is amazing. And so before I close off, I just kind of want to go with the theme of the construction that I was told. So when I was trying to pitch this idea to my business partner, I say, post-call is what I'm going to talk about. And my business partner said, Janvier, in some way, that is actually what you're talking about, is punk. Because what we're trying to do here, we're trying to go against the grain of the film industry, because the film industry is filled with viewership, trendiness, all this other stuff that is vanity. That's what the film industry look out for. But then we're actually doing the complete opposite. And that's what, to me, what punk actually is. So punk's actually going against the norms, or going against the popularity. And that's what I think when it comes to the theme of the TED Talk, this construction. And I think what post-quo is actually a spirit of punk. And I think, what I'm trying to bring as a message, that if we all follow this concept, whether in our professional and whether in your personal life, and I promise you guys, you will start seeing some of the stuff that I've experienced, stuff like collaboration, hopefully finding the love of your life, and then, hopefully also meeting your heroes.